This conference will now be recorded.
Meeting is in progress.
All right, the Town of Cottage Grove Plan Commission will hold a public meeting on Wednesday, April 26, 2023 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall at 4058 County Road N. You can also join the meeting by GoToMeeting. The meeting was posted at the Town Hall and on the website. I'll call the meeting to order, and you have the minutes of the March 22nd meeting in your packet.
I didn't see any modification. I was gonna move to.
Second. Motion by Mule, second by Andrews to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item is public concerns. Public's opportunity to speak to the Plan Commission about any subject that is not a specific agenda item. We have no one online or in person. So then we move to David Zilke and or a science petitioner, Larry Score, property owner seeking guidance for rezone of 10 acres from parcel 0711-273-8000-8 on North Star Road from FT 35 to heavy commercial for several commercial contractor garage style buildings for buyers' use as well as lease to tenants.
I got something. Item 7 first.
No. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Yeah, my name's David Zilke, and Kyle's working with Kyle on this project as my realtor, and I appreciate everybody's time. I'm a resident of Cottage Grove. I've been here since 2014. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm involved with 4 companies. All of them operate outside of Cottage Grove. One of them is a real estate development company, and I'm really interested in this property to really offer an expansion to some of these businesses for overflow, and an opportunity to increase growth. We put some thought into this parcel, and knowing that there's going to be a need for, we'd like to extend we'd like to build a driveway which would allow, or that would be for commercial use to those specifications, that will allow for emergency turnaround along with proper signage, just to let people know that it is a dead end street, that is a private road. And really our goal is to get feedback and see how we can move this project forward.
So are you really looking at 2 different parcels?
Well, currently he's only looking at the one that's existing. It's a 10-acre parcel that you can see there.
For building 2 or building 1?
Are you gonna build 1 or 2 right away, or what's your plan?
No, which parcel? The one that's going this way or the one that's going that way?
Yeah, it's this one right here.
The one that,
Runs east-west
North south. This one right here.
for going to.
well, it's building 1, 3,
Building
and
1
4.
and 3,
Oh, I
4.
see,
Yeah, 'cause this parcel
Okay,
doesn't-
I got it, yep,
This
okay.
one does.
I get that.
Oh, okay, it's 10-acre parcel. Yeah.
So the building 2 parcel exists, but 1, 2, 1, 3, and 4 does not.
This parcel currently exists, this one currently does not exist. So we're really wanting a concept to move forward on trying to get this project moving forward. We've talked to the county, kind of went back and forth, and we just really want guidance to cut down the leeway time. So
What the county have to say.
they consider a rezone to make it heavy commercial or general commercial. So they're kind of on board with the zoning change, but they wanted to kind of have guidance on just kind of overall structure. So that's why we wanted to kind of visit with you on that, so we could kind of simplify it. So we know we're doing it a little bit different.
Well, currently, that parcel, only part of it is in for commercial development.
Well, it's in your land use plan, but it's zoned ag. Yeah.
Right, but the line cuts through
Here's the,
part of the parcel, doesn't go all the way back to the wetlands like you're drawing.
here's your parcel right here.
Yeah.
And so only the very bottom part of it is actually colored pink, which is what's supposed to be future commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how the county would feel about rezoning the entire parcel to commercial with only our line going part way at this point.
And it might only be half because of the wetlands. Like, they haven't went down the road of getting that delineation done or anything, but.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say where that line is and where the lines would be until we gotta move forward. You're starting with one building, right? So
Yeah, that's-
that would fall inside of that square, if you wish.
The pink, most likely.
The second one would be the one that would be kind of discussion, which doesn't have to happen right away, but kind of planning for future.
And this is what you're
Yeah,
proposing for
I was looking at like
them to.
condo style, so we have some already existing kind of in Cottage Grove, where it's office and then also kind of warehousing inside. So it's businesses.
Industrial park,
Yeah,
right near Pelgrim's.
yep, across from there, yep.
So what kind of businesses would occupy rest of your building, whatever you're not using for your own?
I think we're looking at probably contractor garages, like condos, so probably 15 to 2,000 square feet a piece.
What type of business? Like,
What type of business?
Your businesses, yeah.
Oh, yeah, so I'm it's a real estate development company that focuses on collision centers. I'm involved in a biotech company down in Janesville. I have a automotive calibration company that I'm involved with, and then an AV company. And so I always have the need for space with these. And that's really what I'm looking for, is to be able to utilize some of this for personal use for these businesses, but then also to maximize the site and be able to possibly have rental property on it as well.
Would you be providing sewer, septic?
I think that's part of the due diligence is I want to try to get an idea on, like what costs I can budget for like, the driveway, or a possible road in there. So I think that's where we're still the due diligence phase here. I don't know if you could speak to that.
Yeah,
I mean,
they haven't got it perked yet. They'd look into getting that as part of the process, as the overall. concept.
You would
But-
plan on having sewer for all of the various locations?
It'd be good to have it perk if it perks for conventional or mound, but worst case scenario would be a holding tank because it's not that big of units. So, but they haven't got that perked done yet. They don't know if it perks or not, so.
Mark, if they build a access road here, town road standards, what would the fire department probably need for turnaround?
What did they come up with for radius? All you need is like a cul-de-sac at the end.
The thought to put the kind of driveway on the lot line is also for future development to make the land more to the east, potentially more desirable and developable as well.
questions? I do, actually. We had an individual representing a speculator, for lack of a better word, come in for a different portion of the North Star Road area, wanting to do something similar to what you're proposing. And what we discussed and is the fact that when you have tenants and a property owner that has no ties to the community, doesn't monitor it, or doesn't have people here to monitor it, we end up like having the town of Burke, a very similar development there, right near the area where the blacktop plant is, right where all those self-storage areas is. If you go up that road right there, I mean, there is trash and junk cars and just, it looks like hell. All right. And, you know, we expressed our concerns about that because of the fact that there wasn't anybody, apparently there isn't anybody at that site to go ahead and police everything. And the last thing I want is, you know, a development like this, if you will, to begin to look like LKQ's junkyard on 12 and 18. And, or something similar. It doesn't even have to be cars. It could be old worn out equipment. I mean, you could probably imagine anything that would be unsightly. And while that photograph there and this, you know, it's aesthetically pleasing. You know, like you have up here in the village on this one, that's certainly nice. They keep it clean up there. You know, I mean, when you have rentals, you know, there are more than a few people who I don't have a nickel in it, you know, and that's what I'm so concerned about is, you know, we're trying to, as best we can with what resources we have, develop a nice area out there, but these kinds of things would lead to the potential for not having it be so nice. I guess I'll let it go with that.
I think that makes sense. I mean, he lives in Cottage Grove and he'll be owner occupying at least 25 to 50%, I would say, with his businesses. So he is there and will be invested, but.
Yeah, my experience hasn't been, and I'm familiar with the condos, I think it's USA Condo over there on Burke.
Yeah.
And I mean, my background with rentals and real estate has been with national accounts. And I'm not in the business of, you know, cheap rentals and just let anybody in, because it adds noise. You know, so we would have, my real estate company would be out there, I'd have people there. You know, and it's small because we do a lot of subcontracting, but we do have some equipment, you know, small equipment like lifts and stuff we'd have inside, you know, our unit there. But yeah, that'd definitely be something that I wouldn't want the value of the properties. So I understand your concern, but just from owning the land and the buildings, I want to keep the value high and not just let anybody in there. We would be offering a premium rent for it. And I'm not in a financial scenario where I'd have to just let anybody in. You know, we would be able to wait for the right, you know, businesses. We would want people to sign longer term leases and not a month to month or year by year lease, like what the people in Burke are doing. Just to get some feedback on that. That would be important, you know, to me.
Would you be selling part of the building and making them condos? Or are you going to continue to own it and then just lease?
So we would own it. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this for long term. And we're not planning on moving out of Cottage Grove. And yeah, I mean, and you know, with that area growing, you know, we want this site to be, you know, on the higher end. And honestly, I think if we can get this approved, and we can come back with a different like building style. We really just kind of pluck that out, but we would, kind of like across from Downdrans, the 321 Progress, like the 18, 20 foot, something more like that is really what I'm probably more envisioning, for at least the building that I would be in. And if that's important to have all the buildings be, larger size, more aesthetically pleasing, we could definitely look into that.
So do you envision that between your various buildings that eventually would be built, would they be concrete or blacktopped?
Yes.
And so then you'd probably have to run your septic back.
So what?
Septic would have to go back here.
That would be the plan.
Theoretically.
You have to work around for where it perks, because towards the rear, it's not gonna perk back there.
Yeah.
You'll
I'd be curious what
put in
the
your
stormwater
stormwater.
runoff. I mean, definitely
Stormwater
pounds of-
requirements would be,
in a 5-pound bag for what you're gonna need,
I think he's prepared to move forward if it's just one building, he's just prepping if it's, for hopes of a second one. Because his businesses pretty much will fill up the first 10,000 square foot building.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and this is, our first pass. Let's ask for 3 buildings, let's try to get the most out of the site is kind of the thought with it. But,
They are gonna be less than 12,000 feet.
yes.
Have you got sprinkler systems in your other buildings? I'm assuming you don't. I remember right, I've been in buildings up there in the village. Of course, you don't have any sprinkler that way, sorry.
Yeah, there's no, there isn't a sprinkler system in there.
So if you had, one thing I have a problem with is we had talked about this amongst the group. We're gonna do the general commercial. Now you're asking for heavy. That's the problem I got.
We're not asking for heavy, I believe that falls into general commercial. He's not having outside storage or doing any sort of auto body or anything like that.
So that is general.
This one would fall under general in my opinion. I have like a number of lots under contract over there that, one of them that's coming forward would fall under heavy commercial probably, but that's not this one.
So this wrong here.
No, that's what they applied, that's what the application says is heavy commercial.
So am I wrong in asking, saying you're asking for heavy commercial, or is that wrong?
I don't see that. Number 5.
On your application form here, down here, you put heavy commercial.
I think this would fall under general commercial.
Yeah, I think the thought was really what we needed in general, but we thought we just, ask for the heavy. But yeah, I mean, if that's something important, we could definitely leave that as general commercial.
yeah, general commercial is probably
That's-
easier for us to.
And then going back to what Steve said, condoing these things on, do not like that idea. Because once you condo them out, tenants have a right, owners then have a right to do what they want. You can do a condo association, but then the condo association has to enforce. Are they going to do it? That's one thing. Next thing is showing you have a full chunk of land, your parcel, only a portion of it being in the commercial area. So
I think we're just calling it business condo. He's not looking to separate out each unit. He's gonna leave it as a whole 10,000 square foot building.
And lease.
Or I call it 8 to 12,000 square foot building, and then lease. So, and he's gonna be on site with his businesses.
That'd be okay. He's the primary owner. And
Yeah.
he's-
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, yeah.
That's
So we're
fine.
just calling it as a business structure, as like a business unit.
But if you're gonna condo it,
Right.
that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah.
So if you had any intentions of building and then possibly condoing down the road, I wouldn't be for it. I tell you that right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what we told the last gentleman.
It's better to call it units, like 5 units, so, than to call it a business kind of. So there's really not action to be taken. We just wanted kind of concept to make sure that when we go in front of the county and we give them kind of our breakdown after kind of the perk test is done and kind of the process is in place and all the professionals have done their work, then we'll come back and ask for them to change the zoning from ag to general commercial. Then we would come back and hope that plan and board would give our approval at that time. So we just wanted to take notes and make sure that we had everything in order to kind of go through that process, so we don't have to go back and forth.
And I think you want to ask them specifically about our line not going
Yeah,
all the way back, if they would still allow that.
Would you allow it? I mean, is that something that we would allow? I don't like it.
Going all the way back to the wetlands.
That whole parcel saying, well, we're gonna basically bring it into the commercial development area, so we'd be changing it.
Yeah.
can you have half and half zoning? Doesn't it have to be all or nothing? So it's kind of like, it's hard with it being half in on the drawing
Yeah.
because it's either in or it's not.
But just to get their feel their temperature on it. Tony, because, you know, say, if you look at our line, maybe it only goes to here, but will they allow it to do the entire parcel?
Since it's not in the comprehensive plan, the entire thing. But
Yeah, the line cut it in pieces.
It's a good question Kyle has. Do we let zoning on, yeah, we can let zoning on one parcel be 2 different zones, right?
They don't like to do that.
Yeah, they typically don't do that.
Unless you,
Two
unless you,
zonings.
unless you sub,
No.
unless
They
you
don't like
divide
to
it.
do that.
No.
I was thinking of those little spot commercial zones we have.
But those are old,
Yeah,
very old. So,
And it's encouraging, at least from my perspective, that you seem to be willing to invest some money into the aesthetics of the building rather than corrugated multicolored steel with a little bit of
garage doors.
fake brick front.
Mhm.
No, for sure.
yeah,
You know, which is definitely a big plus in my book.
If the county kind of said, hey, we're not gonna do this whole zoning thing and there's only half or whatever, we'd have to go back down the road of dividing, which is maybe a possibility because the abutting landowner owns the land, so you can just assemble that land to that land and get the smaller piece of what falls into the commercial. So that part we can look into.
yeah.
I feel like it's just more of a concept of access, building one, 8 to 12,000 square feet. This is what it is,
Right.
you know?
And then you're gonna have to look at where you can put your septic and
Yeah.
stormwater.
Definitely on the perk test thing to be after this. There's just obviously a lot of money involved in going through these processes, so you want to see kind of how supportive the process is and kind of cut down leeway time.
So when do you think you would be back to see us?
I'd say best case scenario is 2 months because we gotta go through the perk testing in the county but probably more likely 3 to 4 months at this point. That's kind
Well,
of.
we haven't cashed your check yet. We'll hold it until you come back.
In case you just change your mind.
Okay?
Because there's no action tonight. so
Right. Or
That's nice of you.
just,
I was gonna say, very friendly.
Yeah. One question I do have on the access, like, eventually that'll be driveway and make sure that there's turnaround radius for emergency vehicles, but, if the county or somebody says you only can have one building or whatever, it might end up being a cul-de-sac at the back of that to accomplish that. So just want to make sure that we're on the same page on access and
You mean
kind of the
back here?
driveway and, yeah.
I would think that would still be all right. If
Oh,
it's
yeah.
back here.
Yeah, as long as you get someplace to physically do it.
Yeah,
Wasn't it 66 feet?
66 feet,
I thought that was the magic.
town road standards.
I mean, for the turnaround area.
Radius.
The radius,
Oh,
wasn't
no, it's
No,
Oh, it's
90.
more like 90 or
90.
it? Just so you guys know.
I think it's 90.
And some of them, they were talking about doing that hammerhead turn
Yeah.
up here.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody was talking about that a while back. Well, yeah, it's right there.
Dolls up there.
Yeah.
But you get enough cement, probably effectuate that anyway, right? Next side.
Yeah, that whole thing will be paved,
Yeah,
so there'll be access to that.
Hopefully that. If you draw, right?
All it needs is 90 feet of
Yeah.
space. We could put a yellow line there.
And you end up putting the asphalt or concrete down for, even if you're gonna put a building over the top of it, so it's not gonna be wasted. Ends up being parking, but.
With regards, say the county says, no, we want the whole 10 acres, brought in to, excuse me, yeah,
On
is
our
there
map.
any reason why we wouldn't look very seriously at modifying our plan?
Is it even number of years or odd number?
it's not this year, so it must be
Even,
even, yeah.
So next year would be our normal update to our comp plan
For
Make-
for amendments to it.
for amendments. So that's our normal plan. If you'd want it done sooner than that, we're gonna look at you to fund that work.
yeah, so that was gonna be my next part of my question, because I knew this year was not, because we haven't talked about it at all yet. So, but if they paid the price for the meetings and for the publication, I mean, we're not talking hundreds of thousands of dollars or anything else like that. We could, if we felt it, the need to go ahead and make a change out of cycle.
Right, as long as they were willing to fund it.
So we could put an estimate on those funds, like not to exceed 10 grand or something, or a
I
number,
would certainly think that would
yeah. Well, we'll see what the county
Cover-
says and then we can.
cover the new mapping and
Might take that.
publications, public hearings. I wouldn't think it would go over 10.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because it's not like the old days where we had to send out printed copies of everything to all the
Right.
townships. And
Any other questions?
How wide did you say the driveway would be? I know it's the town road standards, but there's,
Town road is, our standard for a town road is, we're 66 feet
with the right of way.
for the road right away, and then you place your 22 or 24 foot paved
Yeah.
somewhere in between there. And at the end, I believe it's a 90 foot for a cul-de-sac.
Okay.
Radius. That's
But-
paved.
But, yeah, I guess I was thinking about the changes that were made to the roads, but this would still be just a 66-foot one. I mean, it's still a private road.
Because it's private.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
never mind.
You don't need the
Yeah.
bike lane and sidewalk and all that.
Right, you're not gonna have a lot of traffic other than,
No bike paths.
You
Well,
don't
the
have
reason
a
I'm
plan
asking-
for that to ever be a through road anywhere.
The reason I'm asking is because, right, this, as part of this process, we have to see on how the 66 feet driveway is gonna play into the concept. So it might have to push over this lot and 33 feet be on one side that abuts the lot line and then 33 feet on the other. Or we might have to slide it over to the left. And then right now, there's 70 feet of road frontage, but it's an angle like this, so it's 35 and 35. So I want to kind of know guidance on direction on what that driveway looks like, if I should be pushing for the zero abutting lot line of kind of 33 feet on each one.
you referring to this map?
This one probably is better to see it. So this is 35 feet and this is 35 feet, so that's how they get around the 60-foot road frontage or whatever. So does 33 feet go like this, or do you do 66 feet up like this? Here's my question.
Without talking to the town engineer, I would think you would go to the west because we would eventually want to see a road going this way.
So go bunker here.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
I would think.
To go north, I don't know, I guess theoretically, whoever the landowner is to the east of that property,
Right.
but
he-
it's at some point in time, this is gonna go commercial also.
Yeah.
So
Well,
why wouldn't we
front
go?
of it, front of it already is, but he's talking about getting his access here. We're gonna want this road to continue that way and up around.
The east and west.
Yes, I don't know, I agree with you there, but as far as running north and south goes, why don't we split it 35 on your side, 30 on 30, 33 on yours and 33 to the east.
On Larry's.
So
You know,
that's what I'm, so
But then at
so
that
what you're
point,
saying is 33 here and 33 here to get you 66 feet.
Exactly.
but then at that
Because you
point,
would
you'd
still
wanna
have enough
dedicate-
room, put your 22 or 24 feet in your 35, well,
We're gonna want that dedicated then
yeah.
for a town road.
The driveway or?
Larry.
It's the same.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you're not here. It's not.
Well,
Mhm.
With all of them.
So all the way to the creek.
and then
So
why
you
wouldn't
dedicate
you?
this portion is what you're saying? Like the first easement portion? Which to cover the road?
You dedicate this down to here, the 33 feet and the 33 feet here.
Dedicated to.
The town, because then at some point, we're gonna have this road probably
Oh,
go
I
in
gotcha.
here.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah. I wasn't following what you were saying about.
Does Larry own to the west also?
Yeah.
Then why wouldn't you split your south property line the same way then?
For which one?
You've got your 33 feet here and go 33 feet. Oh, my pen died.
Yeah.
33 and 33 then on that side. To do the same thing rather than
Dedicated?
you sucking up the entire 66 feet on, here and here.
That would definitely be fine. Well, you probably go 66 feet to the west, so you actually have access, but yeah. Yeah, it's that 33. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Wouldn't be quite as big a hit for you guys.
He's talking about right here. Dedicating this right here. That's part of it.
Right, yep.
Anything else? Totally confused?
No, this is
Okay.
good. This is very helpful. I really appreciate you guys being open and discussing this for sure.
I
Very
can
good.
guarantee it'll be more taxpayers than the $38 it's currently getting. So.
Put that in the developer
That-
agreement.
That's right. That's right. Thanks for your
All
time.
right, thank
But
you.
I also want to mention that Kyle and I sat through a Commerce meeting last month, which one of our town board members was at too, because,
Kristen.
yeah, Chris. And all it was village, village, village. And I actually went up to Kyle afterwards and said, how come they didn't mention anything about this? And so one of the village residents then is actually thinking about having an office out there. Is it kind of quiet out there, Steve?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, they're moving a lot of earth now.
But, you know, for having an office for all those enterprises out there is probably a lot more enjoyable than having it in some of these other places.
For sure.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So kind of off the beaten path.
Well, you're gonna be having a lot of concept meetings coming up because most of that's under contract and moving forward. So it's
Okay.
good stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Bring us nice looking buildings.
That's right.
All right.
And more importantly, great tenants or great owners.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank
You
you.
might want to stick around then, because after this,
Definitely.
okay.
Next is Steve Benevitz petitioner, North Star Road Investment Property Owner Design Review for addition of an office addition to the existing commercial shop at 3447 North Star Road.
Good evening, I'm back, as promised.
I haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah. So when we got approved for the first building out there, I had promised that we would do something more, and this is the something more coming to you tonight. We're proposing to put a 960 square foot office addition on the front of the existing building. And I think you have elevation plans on it, so you'll see that it has a porch and lots of windows
Facing
and some stone.
Yeah.
So this is the dress up that, you know, I was asked to do at some point in time. The 960 square feet, a large part of that's going to be a full service bathroom for the facility. So we'll be able to, for worker protection standards, we'll be able to shower and do some laundry in there as well. So it'll be a little bit bigger bathroom. Then the rest will be open office space inside. The well has been located and that seems to work. We're gonna get a permit for that. So we'll have a well being put in. And we had the septic test done Tuesday of last week and we passed with flying colors. So we'll be able to put the septic right there next to the building.
on the west end.
The septic will be off of this proposed office. It will be off the southeast corner of the building. So but kind of between the main driveway and the new office.
In here.
Yeah, it'll be in that corner behind my rocks.
Which picture you got?
Yeah, that's adequate distance from the well.
Yeah, it's 70 some feet from the well. So that was the big determining factor of where to put it.
So I noticed on here you got proposed well 50 feet setback.
Yeah.
Is that
And
50?
that's a great well location because that's where all the power comes in and that's the heated part of the building. So we're not going to be running big water line and electric lines back and forth to other parts of the property. Trying to keep all the utilities compacted into that corner.
And it's far enough off the lot line between you and the other one.
I don't know if I've seen what the rec is. I think it'll be at least 15 feet off. So it's not going to be right on.
It's got to be at least 10, correct? Setback off from the lot line,
Yes.
10? Okay, I'll make sure it's 10.
at least 10.
So then on your current building, you've got these little awnings.
Yep, that'll come off because the new building will cover all that. I did that to try and make it look a little better.
Will you continue?
Well, I can put the awnings on those windows if you like them. Yeah. I didn't know what I was gonna do with those. I was either gonna put them on the other side of the building, just to make the other side next to the pond look nice. Hate to throw them away.
Yeah, I mean, I would suggest you put them on the roadside,
Yeah, okay.
breaks up and makes the building look, I think. will make it look very nice. And then you're just gonna have gray stone.
Well, what do we call Kim, the booklet, the rules that I was referring to when the policy is, it says native stone, and I don't know what that means. I tried to find what native stone means. I didn't know if that meant not square bricks, but something natural, or if it has to be real stone, or it could be kind of the mortared and put on, I don't.
I think we've allowed both. We would allow either natural stone or the cultured stone.
Cultured stone, okay, just so it doesn't look like a plastic panel,
Right,
it's all warped in the sun.
yeah. And, you had gray here,
It probably won't be gray, I think that's just what they put down as brick. Gray doesn't seem to fit in that color scheme.
what would you use?
I would do a natural color, cultured stone that has more beiges and browns, I think,
Okay,
just because we're at green and beige.
Okay.
Going gray seems kind of awkward to me.
Would it be like some red to this?
We could do red too, would work, kind of a dark red might work well. And I could easily send something to all of you when I talk with Cleary again. Yeah, my preference would be gray brick.
Larry. What's in a native perennial garden?
Solitary garden. I think there's a spec in there that wants a perennial bed of some size. So that's what we do for a living, so,
And that's what you'd put in front of the porch.
yes, just to kind of soften the edge of the porch there.
Jobs that we don't do.
No, it isn't gonna be a tall porch, we're pretty flat grade there.
I talked to what's his name.
We'll do something decorative, because that's what we do for a living, so it would seem like we could put a garden in a home
Should be
place.
able to do it.
And your 3 dogwoods around the roadside.
Yeah.
And then.
Just so they're not in front of
White
windows.
cedars.
Yeah, we just wanted to do some evergreens off the corners and around the utilities, just so that you're not as visible.
I'd probably screw it
There'll
up.
be a well sticking up, and there's an LP tank, which I can't do much about. Because it has to be accessible.
Yeah,
And then the electric riser coming onto the building, so we'll use some screening for that.
so then the tree here.
All those trees will always stay unless somebody's bothered by them.
Okay,
And probably half of them someday will have to come out, but that'll be way beyond my tenure here.
and what kind are they?
There's Concolor fir, there's Colorado blue spruce, there's some river birch, and there's some maples, and I have some sycamores. Just all kinds of collection of stuff that I bump into.
Okay, and then you're going to pave everything this fall.
Yes, I don't want to wreck the paving and
Here's the construction, yeah, right.
the next building will probably be fall at 25, summer at 25. And if I wreck some pavement, I'm just gonna have to wreck pavement. I can't go that long without.
Questions? Comments on color scheme, vegetation, any of that?
Good.
Any change in lighting?
So the lighting I have right now on the outside of the building was too bright for Jonathan down the road. So I actually put little dampers on them. So, but at some point when the rest of this builds out, those dampers will have to come off because I need more light on the, by code, I need more light on the parking lot, but it did look like an airport runway from 1218. So
So does it shine out?
they're supposed to shine out onto the parking lot
And down.
and down. Yeah,
Do you need ones that shine out? I understand why you need those at night.
yeah.
For fall and springtime.
Because we're so much higher than Jonathan,
Yeah.
the out
Yeah.
and down was just like bathed this whole house in light, so. It's to get the candle power at the last corner of the parking lot kind of idea. The new building probably won't have any lights on other than a small spot over the door. So if you came at night,
Right.
you would see a keyhole for it.
But you don't need those ones in the yard on all the time, do you?
I think, I don't know what the code is. I just know the electrician said this is what you have to have for your parking lot. So we have them on dusk to dawn.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I could shut off at midnight. I mean, we're never there past 9 p.m. So if someone said after 9 p.m. you don't have to have them on, I would readjust the.
Does he have to have them on that late? Is it throughout the night?
I would, you know, if he's gonna be done at 9, I would say shut him off at 10.
Yeah.
What does Capital Underground have for lights?
What's that?
What's Capital Underground have for lights?
They have big ones too, but they're, down the hill.
Do they
Yeah.
shut off?
I believe they're on all night long.
Yeah, I think they're on. all
Yeah,
And they may want that for some security too.
yeah.
My cameras work in darker night. It's a little different picture, but they will continue to work.
Okay. Do we have a motion? Motion to approve. Motion by Anderson, second by Neil to approve the design and review for the addition of an office with the landscaping and the paving as presented. Correct?
Yes.
Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
You're done here.
Get a bathroom in the office.
Guys are looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle, Steve, I think we shared an email, didn't we?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for your advice, because
Next
You told
item
two different
is
things.
discuss and consider making a recommendation regarding preferred zoning designation for development in the North Star Road area, general commercial or heavy commercial. So we got this from Steve. So,
Let me explain my
go ahead.
colors. Well, if they're looking at this thing, okay, we got to see what's common and not common. So anything that's yellow, including GC and HC, is similar between the both, including conditional uses. So anything that's yellow, you can do in both of them. Anything that's not highlighted, you can't do in the other. What you can do in GC, you can't do in heavy commercial.
Underneath
All these unhighlighted.
That's the one that they
don't. Correct.
So let me repeat that. So you guys, it's not in the hemp article. I'll explain that in a second. It's in this thing. Not in that.
It's on these two sheets here.
These two, yep.
You have them?
I gave them with the yellows.
I never did anything with it.
Here, you look at mine.
Yeah, 2 of them there. I gave you one, Jared.
You had to use them. You give me one of those.
Dog.
Let me pull that off mine.
Keep track of your,
Bring it off the side of the wall.
Get some chalk. Okay, let me explain this again for Jerry's benefit. You have light, general commercial and heavy commercial. anything that's highlighted, you can do in both, including conditional use. Conditional use is being required. Anything that's not highlighted in GC, you can't do in HC, and likewise, anything that's not highlighted in HC, you can't do in GC. So let me go through this, and Troy can look at his little cheat sheet that he did too. He did the same thing, only a little bit.
It comes out the same.
Yeah. So on GC, permitted uses, the only thing that's not highlighted is utility services associated with permitted use, whatever that means. I'm not sure. Conditional uses, well, we all know that they can do contractor, landscape and building, but you need, for outdoor storage, you need a conditional use. You can do outdoor storage under a HIPAA. And residential and associated accessory uses, to say you can't do in heavy.
Yeah, that's right.
Under heavy, the next page, you can't do in the GC, adult bookstores, colony house, whatever that is, freight and bus terminal, outdoor sales, display or repair, personal storage facilities or mini warehouses.
You forgot institutional residential. Middle column.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yep, institutional residential. Any old folks homes? And warehousing and distribution facilities. And under the conditional uses, you can't do in GC animal boarding, large animal. You can do animal boarding, domestic pet and stuff like that, but not large animal. Caretakers residence. Renewable energy generation, you can't do in general, which in terms of all these solar display, solar things, it might be important. And that's it. So what you need, what you can do is, do we not want to do any of this stuff anyway, under heavy? Will that just enumerate it? Now, do you have any corrections to what I just came up with?
No.
Okay.
And I think when we first talked about this, a lot of these, like the adult bookstore, the institutional residential, a lot of that stuff we even took out of general commercial. That was what I remember. Does anybody else remember that, going through general commercial and picking out stuff that we weren't going to allow down there?
I remember that. But I don't.
night. You were? Yes. So that was, okay, so we did it when you were here, and we pulled another plan from somebody else we had spoken with. We weren't going to allow.
I mean, you always do that. Anytime you have a request, you look through and say, okay, this is what general commercial could have, but what do you need? Because we're only going to give you the ones you need. But there's no policy in our comp plan that says we'll never allow these general commercial uses anywhere.
Correct. It was between us.
Yeah, so there's no written policy to that effect. There's just been discussion.
Didn't I sign a deed restriction?
But, and then on a case by case basis, you've discussed it with each applicant and said, we're not gonna allow this and this and this on your property. But there's no overall policy that says the town will never allow any general commercial property to have this one. You know, there's nothing in the comp plan.
I want to also mention that the height requirement is different between the two. Under the general commercial, it's 35 feet, 2 stories are 35 feet max. And under the heavy commercial, it's 50 feet. Sorry if that changed the topic, but
No.
I think you always have the ability for each rezone that comes in to say, we'll give you these permitted uses of the zoning district and not the other. You always have that ability.
Right.
Yeah, the general commercial would allow for residential uses by conditional use permit. But we weren't going to allow any of that.
Right.
Right.
Doesn't fit well with,
no,
Correct.
not long term.
no.
I don't even know that I would want to allow even caretakers residence, quite frankly.
To me, one of the biggest things is outdoor storage, which is allowed under every commercial, but it's a conditional use under general.
Pretty much you can do it both places if you.
But they have to come back
But you have to ask.
for that conditional use.
And then we were looking at what they were gonna store outside versus smaller trailers versus semi-trailers, something
Yeah,
that was built to go.
shipping containers or whatever, yeah.
Can I participate in this or?
Sure.
Okay. I don't have a problem with this outdoor storage. Sometimes it's not that bad, but you look like Stevens up here, they got junk all over. They have to, that's their job. Got
Who's that?
cement forms, Stevens up here, is that called
Construction
Oh,
Yeah.
where the garage,
and what, Vogel down here?
They just stuff all over the place, but that's the nature of the business. Compared to, let's say, Sunbelt up here, they got stuff all, but it's all in a row because that's what they do. It doesn't look bad. It's a completely different thing. My thing, outdoor storage, it can be nice and it can be bad. That's why my opinion on a lot of this stuff is, I don't mind just going with general commercial as long as we can come along and meet with you to get a, what do you call it, a rezone. And
Conditional.
then we can kind of, it gives us a filter.
Right.
And now I can filter stuff out. Otherwise, I have no filter. Anybody can come in there and do that.
Yeah.
But you guys we could have a mess on our hands. But as long as we can come in and case by case say, these will be a good neighbor, they're gonna fit my thing good, then I have a problem with that.
I'd see the main factor between these two would be the outdoor sales display or repair.
I don't know what that means.
Well, I would liken it to a heavy equipment dealer like Favic. Is that correct?
like what?
Favic or.
Oh, yeah.
Or Brooks, something like that.
That's not to say you can't allow that. They just have screening to.
Yeah, if you look at DeForest, DeForest, they do have a dealer like that out there in the middle, and it looks kind of weird.
Ziegler's?
No, it's not, no.
No,
It's in DeForest
Oh, I
Industrial.
thought you were talking about the
No.
egg dealer out there
It's like
along the
Erie or
interstate.
something like that.
That looks weird.
Ziegler's? Oh, yeah, I agree.
You mean along the interstate?
Yeah,
Yeah,
on the west side of the interstate.
Why does it look weird?
You've got farmland and all of a sudden you got this 10 acres of egg equipment.
That's not the one I was talking about. I was
No,
talking
no,
about-
right. That's what I thought you were at first.
But, we actually had the potential of having Fabco out here a long time ago. They were investigating that pit where Houston is. If you guys remember that? Oh, yeah, obviously they decided no, but that would preclude them, something like that. I actually don't think.
It doesn't
I don't mind Ziegler
preclude-
So much, it's because he had
it
so
doesn't
many other things.
preclude them from coming. They can ask for it.
Right.
So how's it written right now? Because when I talk to the county, they seem very flexible on heavy commercial or general commercial. They just ask like, who's your user? What do they want? And they're open to both. And it actually creates uncertainty on what direction to go because they're open to either. So how is yours written? Is it written where it's general commercial unless you get a conditional use permit? And it's with the conditional use permit, it's.
No, you could ask for either general or heavy.
Okay.
But then you're going to have to go by what we're going to allow and what we're not going to allow. And you may ask for heavy commercial because you want that outdoor storage, but it's Stevens Construction. We may say no. We'll give you general, and then you can come and ask us for outdoor storage. We may put conditions on it that you have to screen it in such a way that it's really not noticeable.
Is that the way you want to go? Do you prefer that?
I think I would.
I'm open to either one, because as long as you can get a permit, like I said, I think it's nice to have a filter and not have
Yeah.
this in our hands.
Not blanket.
Yeah, this way we have
Yeah.
something to say about how that outdoor storage is really going to look.
Yeah, this is my development. I want it to look nice too.
Yeah,
I want to
So you're,
attract people. I want to say, hey, look at this. This is nice. This is good neighbors. It's a good sale and, it's going very well.
are you leaning towards conditional use permit then, is what you're saying?
Or a rezone if they want it.
Well, you're gonna have to rezone it anyway. Well,
No, you don't. You just conditional use permit. Conditional use permit.
yeah, well, you could do that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
either way, you have to go through a process.
Yeah. yes.
Mr.
Yeah, even if we go,
Cummins A lot, or came in there and said, hey, we're gonna put a berm in, we're gonna put trees in. Yeah, I thought that was really good.
Isn't the chief just asking for what our general inclinations is?
Yeah.
So it's pretty much GC.
If the issue is just outdoor storage, that would be your inclination, right? But like this example he gives in his email that you have there, he says there's somebody who's interested in automotive repair and some limited auto sales. Wouldn't that be outdoor sales? And then wouldn't you have to have heavy commercial?
yes.
You know? So, I mean, I think he's really saying like when someone comes and they're fine with general commercial except they want outdoor storage, would you rather have them guided towards rezoning or a conditional use permit? I think that's what he's asking.
well, I would say conditional
I
use.
would say
because
CUP.
Then we have something to say
Yeah,
about
we
it.
kick at the can.
Yeah,
It's all of those are under this, the CUP of the general commercial.
Right.
yes.
So I see them all listed there,
Outdoor
outdoor
storage,
storage,
yeah.
repair, whatever. And then that's just through you, right? It's not through the county then? You just get the,
Now it goes through both.
it does, okay.
But the county said they could care less. He said, you're on the sticks. We don't even care. That's what Roger Wayne says.
Yeah, but
We don't care. You're on the sticks.
Yeah,
That's what he told me a couple days ago.
but we care what it's going to
Yes.
look like.
Yeah.
Well, all of the uses would, be under general commercial and then you can do the conditional use permit, so.
Except outdoor sales is not.
And we'd be able to limit the height of the building, heavy commercial versus.
I don't know that 50 feet would be that critical under GC. I mean, the lack of a 50-foot building would be that critical in GC.
With,
You could have 50 feet
Height,
in heavy,
yep,
you have 50.
right? 35 and 30 or 35 in general.
30
I mean, I don't know that,
5 feet make a big difference.
No, it's 15 feet.
I know, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
what are the, I mean, even a place like Capital Underground is getting by without a 50-foot building. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
With large equipment.
So,
And that's what I'm kind of saying.
Now, the other thing is a 50-foot building is generally gonna need to be sprinkled with what you're gonna be putting in that thing. I would think.
theoretically, it could be multi-story even.
Yeah, right, which is gonna need.
cubic footage.
And what-
You get over a certain amount of cubic.
They want to keep it.
So you need sprinklers.
Yes.
And that's gonna pretty much wipe anybody out. If you're all there.
Outdoor sales thing.
I would say we put it
Yeah.
in around well.
Put it in here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right there,
Yeah.
outdoor storage. Yeah. Yeah.
I agree.
So every time I sell a lot, do I have, no matter what they do, they have to come to the board to get approval to do a commercial building lot?
Well, for the building,
No, just to come to you to get permission, whatever they want to do. Let's say a guy's going to be a landscaper, I have to come to you to get that permit?
we rezoned
The lots that you've already got
is
rezoned,
3.
so the 3 lots or whatever it was that you already rezoned, as long as what they're gonna do fits into the uses that were approved for those, zoning on those, they don't have to.
They don't.
But now you've got
Site
somebody
repair,
looking
does
at
that
it who
mean-
wants outdoor storage, that's not approved, so now they're gonna have to get
Yes.
either rezone or get a conditional use permit.
But let's say under heavy storage, they could just go and do it. They don't have to come to you with the rough stuff to go, right?
As long as that was, if they got heavy commercial and the board didn't say it's heavy commercial but no outdoor storage, then they could go ahead and do it. But I mean, if it was heavy storage, it probably wouldn't have all those uses approved. Remember, the board kind of picks and chooses.
Yeah.
What he's asking is to build anything, they have to pull a permit through you. And part of the permitting process, handle that concern.
No,
That's what he was
Okay, I
asking.
see.
There is a design, like what you just saw Mr. Badovets go through, that's our design review ordinance. And so when you build something new or you add on to it, that just is at the town level for them to look at the building materials and all those kind of things. But actual use, it gets into zoning and conditional use permits at the county.
So kind of using your example, if you want outdoor sales, can you put that under a conditional use on this or?
That's not a conditional use on general commercial.
Right. It's not allowable under general.
So they're gonna have to go for heavy commercial and then,
Yeah,
Come back to us for that.
right.
So that'll be a rezone, and then the
Yeah.
board will, or the plan commission will look at the permitted uses for heavy commercial and say, we'll be okay with this group of them, but we're gonna cross these other ones off. You can't do those.
Now, outdoor sales is not a conditional use on either one of them.
Correct.
no, it's not, it's allowed use. though.
It's allowed under heavy commercial.
Oh, on the first one, oh, on heavy, okay. All right.
So what they're saying is they'll do they'll allow a rezone to heavy commercial, they're gonna minus things out.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can do that ahead of time or,
If we want to allow outside sales.
Yeah.
I still like to have an example of that.
What's that?
I'd like to have an example of
Outside
that.
sell, any car,
I thought-
like any car dealer or heavy equipment dealer?
yes,
It's considered outside
Yes.
sales.
Or campers, or
Yeah.
boats, or
and they're all gonna have interest in that area.
Oh, yeah.
storage sheds, some of those portable storage buildings.
Okay,
All of those are gonna have interest in that
okay.
area.
Anything that's stored outside.
Anything you're not gonna go look at inside a showroom.
Okay.
So I take it you currently have somebody interested in buying a chunk of land.
I have multiple people interested. All of the lots right now that he rezoned are under contract, subject to process. So,
So typically, what kinds of uses are they looking at?
auto repair, auto sales, equipment sales.
Equipment lease.
uh,
One's equipment lease.
Yeah, leasing. Um,
What do you mean by
Like
equipment lease? Like
restaurant,
a A to Z type
Sunbelt.
thing?
Sunbelt on steroids, I think.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Short-term rental,
Yes.
yeah.
I have
A lease is, to me, is a long-term. A rent is a short-term
Yeah.
rental.
Restaurant equipment, like hoods and heavy equipment's another one.
But the restaurant equipment's usually inside.
It'll be inside, yeah.
Yeah. And we got a manufacturer, but I don't know what they manufacture. I'm not quite sure. They're leaving Village to come out there. But I know what they do. They need three-phase. They need three-phase for it.
We have three-phased capital.
Yeah, they got 480.
It's a long line.
Yes. And they're only going to charge my customers $2,300. So got up.
Good deal.
Sign the contract now. Before they change their
You
mind.
know what that usually is? That's,
Yeah.
that's unbelievable money.
$50,000.
Yes.
And
Caught Gordy in a good mood.
What's that?
Caught Gordy in a good
Yeah,
mood.
no kidding.
no kidding.
So like, for example, 2 of the 3 lots that are under contract right now could potentially need to do a rezone to heavy commercial then for outside sales.
So let's talk about that for just a second. From sightlines. The funny thing is you guys are talking about Ziegler. I don't mind that look because I go by there a lot and I don't mind the look. And I buy from them, so I'd like to see what they have out there. But the funny thing is they want the access and the visibility from the interstate. And Dane County Highway doesn't want them to cut those shrubs, that junk trees that are growing up because of a windbreak for theoretically. I think they're bullshit, but
For snow drifting
for
in the
snow
winter.
drift, yeah, because the building's blocking it, so what shrubbery is gonna block all that? So I get the visibility along the highway, and that's what people are gonna be saying. They can see all this stuff down in the valley. How are they, if we're gonna have people who want to buy out there and have outdoor sales?
But they're not gonna be buying because, oh, look at that, I just drove by it and I'm gonna run over there and buy it. No, they're gonna know they're there, they're gonna get the address, they're gonna drive there.
But
A lot of impulse driving, just driving by, not just looking, they're not driving down the road with a 4-lane highway and looking at, and they know it's over there.
But they're gonna see it from the highway if you don't do it right. So there are ways they can do it with a tall enough building, have the outdoor sales and not see it from 12 and 18 or You're not gonna see it from Ann because of the hill, but
I guess
from
we,
12 and 18. So it would help those people to have it.
but at the same point, and I understand it's potential reluctance to let all the marbles out right now at this point, but, you know, we can't help them in this particular case until the brainstorm or whatever, till you actually
But
know.
here's the thought. You could pretty well hide a car dealership, but you can't hide an excavator very well if you leave the sticks up in the air, because they're gonna stick up over the building.
Or the same way, yeah. or the same-
Because you can see that equipment dealer, when you're in the forest, you can see that lot.
I
You know the
gosh,
one I'm talking
I
about.
don't-
Yeah.
Where is it at? I guess I just,
If you go past, was it B, Highway B, that goes to Dane?
yeah,
Continue north, right on the left-hand side.
It's in the village.
That's,
It's in their industrial park.
okay.
not Ziegler. He's not talking
No.
about Ziegler.
I wouldn't-
Yeah,
I'll show you.
okay.
Well, Aaron's is up there, one of them. but
What's
that's-
It's Aaron's.
Aaron's.
The plan that Mark drew, that conceptual plan, has areas that seem more fitted for outdoor storage than others right on the plan.
Yeah.
That might be something to consider about, you know, that if there are things like big excavators or whatever, maybe those would be more suitable to guide to those lots in those areas versus right on the main drag, you know?
That's my point.
Yeah.
Well, the one that we got sold is right across from Capital Underground. And they're getting more and more stuff all the time outdoors down there. Tons of stuff in the back.
Can you see Capitol Underground from the highway? From 12 and 18? I don't think you
You
can.
won't see mine either. You won't see it, most likely.
Well, just like,
That's why I'm bringing it up.
well, there were
I won't see
looking
it.
at that implement dealer that was gonna be right out there by AB.
Oh, you're right.
That was gonna be,
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't gonna be blocked or anything.
Might not be an issue.
Yeah, that was right out there, right out by the interstate.
Mid-states.
I mean, if they're done right, like I've mentioned before, Houston, I think they do a great job as far as when they keep everything lined up, everything looks, you drive by that, hey, it's industrial thing, and that's what you do. But you'd have somebody.
So do all of your potential clients have outdoor storage in mind?
No,
No,
no. Like right now, 2 out of 5.
I'm sorry.
2 out of 5
Oh.
potentials. And one's not for sales, I guess it's more for leasing, but it's still gonna be, it's such big equipment, it's gonna be outside. So I don't know how that fits. So it's not sales, it's leasing, but it's still gonna be outdoors, so they're gonna need a conditional use permit. So I don't know if it's covered by that.
It's Roland Machinery.
Oh, yeah.
And it's right near the Wisconsin bus sales. But you can actually see that equipment from, which I personally don't have a problem with, but I'm sure some people will, from North Street as you go through DeForest. It's on the west side.
So they could build the lot they want's that great big 5-acre one right in the corner. They build a building on the south side, and you'd never see anything on the north side.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see anything. We'd all get,
Machinery.
that's probably where they'd put it anyway, the equipment.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
Roland.
just like general commercial because if
Oh,
you want
roll,
outdoor
okay.
storage, you get a
It's a heavy
kick at that
equipment
can as to how it's going to
DeForest.
look.
Yeah.
I mean, overall.
But it seems like if that outdoor storage is because of outdoor sales, you're
I
not
know where
gonna have
that
a
is.
choice.
Then
I
they
mean,
have to
I see
rezone it to
Playcon
heavy
every time
commercial.
Yeah.
you drive by. That's there.
I go
But
off
then-
that.
But
I
at
guess I
that
haven't
point,
noticed
then
the
we get to
Roland
tell them
machinery place
what they
behind.
have to do
Right.
to make it look nice. Because they have to ask for that rezone.
For
And I don't know if you could go so far as to say, you know, you can have outdoor storage, but it's gotta be in this part of your lot, you know?
But it's not sales. That's the difference.
Because that's part of your design review too, maybe,
Yeah.
when
So-
they're telling you.
Depends on where that lot is.
Here's-
Well, like what Dwayne was just saying,
Yeah.
the one guy, the stuff would be back behind the building, so it's.
Here's the interesting thing is Capitol Underground, which has the same type of equipment, is zoned general with the outdoor storage.
I know, they shouldn't, I don't think they
No,
should.
but they're not selling. He's a contractor, which is allowed under general.
But I don't think they have a conditional use permit for outdoor storage.
Well, the county said there was a difference on the outside storage on whether it was for your own business or for another business. I'm like, it doesn't separate that the way it's written. That's what they're saying.
Resale.
Yeah.
That's it. I think we visited that point
Yeah.
at one point.
I thought it was interesting you said that.
Yeah.
So who has a final say? The county or you? County.
We advise them.
Okay.
But with a conditional use permit, if you guys don't like it, they are
They
not
can't
supposed
act
to
on it.
approve it. Right. So
Oh,
that-
they're zoned, but not conditional use permits. There's zoning.
On
When you say no, the
conditional
town
use,
can't say yes.
the town has, whatever action the town takes on conditional use, the county has to take the same action.
Oh, okay. Okay.
For it to be approved.
So we should be coming to the town first if you need a conditional use permit as opposed to the county.
Well,
You apply,
you have to apply at the county
County
and then
and
the
then here.
county wants the town's
Oh,
action before they'll act. That's true of both zoning and conditional use permits.
We get the first kick, but because usually the time frame to get into the counties a little
takes
bit longer,
much longer.
you know, that's why, you know, apply there at the same
Well,
time.
that and if you don't apply there first, there's always a chance that you'll apply for the wrong thing. And then by the time you get up there, you'll find out you gotta start all over again.
Good point.
so I got a little situation with this road on the north side. Right? Does it-
At
does the
90-degree corner.
Does the township actually own that road, right? Like, is that a field road that's owned by the farmers?
Which one are you? Red?
Land is probably still owned by the farmer, has never been dedicated.
Yeah,
Oh, the one that goes off.
It's
to the
been,
west.
it was laid out as a road,
but,
but not dedicated.
well, none of that is on my land. See where I'm going? And I'm supposed to build a road to those 3 lots. The county says you gotta have a road. Actually, the county says they don't want to approve anything until that road is built. They never approve a lot until there's access to it. Well, I'm gonna tell them my situation, what's the real situation there? You know,
Because Larry owns the land then? Where that farm road is?
I guess that's what he's saying.
well, I think if you look at the survey stick, it's out in my land. The road is on the north of my land. Gene Score always said that.
Did follow the section line?
Gene Score always said, hey, those trees are my trees. You know, that line of trees, that's actually on my land, and he might be right. Because if you look in the old days, those roads were crooked. They didn't really
Yeah.
follow anything. Even the North Star Road had a crook in it and, you know.
Yeah.
So what happens in a situation like that?
Somebody's got to put a road in.
Well,
Certified survey, put a road in
Yeah.
and dedicate it.
but it's not,
Between the. between
it's
the
not my
landowners.
land. How can I put a road in it? I don't even own the land.
Because it's been a road for over 5 years,
Oh,
it is a road.
oh, okay.
State statute, I don't know, 82.
Okay,
Sounds good to me.
okay.
I thought 20 shows up as a road.
But I mean, we could probably find it in our old,
But that doesn't allow anybody to make improvements on it unless they volunteer.
Town would be improving it, but they would be charging, the developer would be paying for it
yeah,
because it benefits the developer.
Seems like developers paying for everything.
yep.
You know the definition of
But we
developer?
plow it.
You ever heard this? Definition of developers, the art of changing money from one pocket to another until there is no more.
I thought that was farming.
Well, that applies too. Same thing. How do you make $1 million in farming? Start with 2 million.
Okay, are we in general agreement that we're what?
Generally heading towards. the
General, commercial, GC? We'll consider HC if that's what they ask for. But we like GC because then they can come for conditional use if there's outside storage.
So general commercial, if all they need that is not in the permitted uses of general commercial is the outdoor storage. you will consider heavy if they need one of the uses that is only in heavy.
Yeah.
Well, wait,
And it looked like the only one, like the examples you guys have was outdoor sales, not so much storage. Because you have to be commercial or HC for outdoor sales.
Were you looking for those bookstores?
so I got a
No, we're not going
question.
to allow those, period.
So if you're gonna have GC, and then you say, well, we'll look at HC, what prevents somebody that's currently has a building in operation in GC to come back and say, well, I'd like HC now?
You always do that.
You can always do that.
Can always
You don't
do
have to
that.
prove that's what they.
We don't-
American way, come on.
They just would have
You don't have
to
to
say
give it to
why.
them.
Yeah.
Well,
You guys would have, you'd have to accept the reason why, and, oh yeah, you're right, if you want to do that, you would need HC, you know?
Yeah.
They'd have to ask why, and you'd have to.
well, why you want HC from retail to
Yes.
commercial?
What are you going to be doing that's different than what your current zoning allows?
That I understand.
Yeah.
It's just a concept of kind of open in a sense.
Yeah.
But if they came to you and said, I want heavy commercial so I could have outdoor storage, you could say, well, you can do that with a conditional use permit. And
Yeah.
then you can shut that down right there.
Right.
You just can't sell them.
Um,
Like Capital
But
Underground
if
can do
it-
outdoor storage because they're not selling their
But
equipment.
if they said, I want heavy commercial because I want to do outdoor sales and display, you wouldn't, there's no other alternative to offer them.
Right.
Correct.
So does a conditional use permit transfer? ownership?
No, it's only good for the.
Well, not always. Some of them are written with discontinued use of the conditional use and they contract, but it's not always the owner. It's not, so if
As
someone
long
bought
as
it.
the new owners,
if the new owner would
Doing the
do
same
the
thing.
Same thing. It depends on how they're written. Some of them are written that way, that if the conditional use is ceased for a year or something, then it's gone.
Kind of void.
Yeah, whether it's the same owner or a different one.
Okay.
So the other thing I gave you guys is if you, well, that article came from the Furrow, which is a really good magazine put out by John Deere. You can get a free copy every month if you request it from your John Deere dealer, just to get signed up. Really good magazine. Back in the day, when we were talking about that interchange and the northeast corner, I made a comment that in the future, I could foresee some processing, like maybe hemp, processing of hemp products. This is an exact article of what I was talking about back then, and this is in Montana, that this couple is doing. It's amazing the number, there are over 26,000 uses of industrial hemp. This is the fiber part, not the seed part, the fiber part. A lot of dashboards are made out of it. Tons of stuff is made out of industrial hemp. But that was my whole goal, is to have that available for like a processing center like these guys are doing. So, let's pull farm field.
I need a motion and a second on
Last one,
general commercial is our
preferred.
preferred. Did you move it? We'll look at HC on a
Case by case.
individual basis.
Yeah, case by case basis.
I'll second the chair's motion.
Said it just fine.
Any discussion on that motion?
Yeah,
I couldn't repeat that.
that took long enough.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now, who's gonna make the last one?
Come on, Jared. Your turn.
I think most of it is good.
Motion by Myler, second by Mark. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. One and all.